Yeah, today on the big story, we're talking about Nigerian air travelers face tough times as fares jump 100%. As fares get to 100%. You're watching the big story, and I'm Destiny Momoh. Now, local airfares in Nigeria have skyrocketed by over 100% ahead of the Christmas season. Now, this is as rising travel demand meets a severe shortage of available aircraft. Many flights on popular routes like Asaba, Owerri, Port Harcourt, and even Enugu are fully booked weeks ahead. And travelers who manage to get seats are paying as high as 350,000 naira to 600,000 naira for routes that used to cost far less. Now, aviation analysts warn that this combination of aircraft scarcity, festive rush, and new regulatory charges could worsen delays and cancellations, while also disrupting the travel plan of Diaspora Nigerians returning home for the holidays. Now, this morning, we ask what exactly is driving these extreme fare hikes and what can be done to actually protect passengers. Today on the big story, we are joined by our BusinessDay Aviation Editor, Ifeoma Okeke-Korieocha. Good morning, Ifeoma.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us. Now, let's just go straight to the conversation. What is the main driver of this sudden 100%, jump on airfares? Now, in local airfares, now is it aircraft shortage or festive demand, or it is actually something deeper?
Okay, yeah. So before now, we've always had shortage in aircraft, but then we have not seen fares rise like this. But like you see in the story I did, it's between mid-December and then early January that you see this fares rising, and those seasons are actually the Christmas season.
Okay.
So you could understand that there's a rising demand, and then when you see that demand when there's a demand in the market, of course,
Definitely.
But then the skyrocketing prices are so much. So there's beyond just the Christmas festival, there are also other underlying factors. Around this time last week, Air Peace, Nigeria's largest carrier, had announced that they are facing crisis because one of their lessors unlawfully pulled out good sum of aircraft from their fleets. So that goes to show that there's already crisis in the markets, and there needs to be some airline or some aircraft that needs to fill that space.
Okay.
And then seeing that Air Peace it's not filling that space right now for Christmas. Other airlines are going to fill that space. But then it's already the competition is not as much as we want it to be. If there's competition in the market, prices will reduce. But because it's almost like a monopoly market now, you see those other airlines coming on board, and then they are shooting up their prices because of what is going on. And beyond that also, there's actually no aircraft. We've had shortage of aircraft over time, and this is because, maintenance cost is high. Generally, globally, IATA will tell you that there's shortage of aircraft globally because a lot of factors are making this happen, and Nigeria is not excluded from that. So that's inclusive with these issues that we are having now is making the fares rise. And I see that before the end of this month, it will still increase. I just hope that we don't have to pay 1 million naira for a one-way ticket.
No. It's surprising because I overheard someone say that, normally before now, if you do this ticketing in advance, you get a little bit of, do you understand, a lesser amount to pay. But even these days, it's not even adding up. It's not even
happening now, because I think around last month, if you had gone in to book for tickets for Christmas, you won't even get.
Oh, wow.
So the airlines are just waiting to see what the market shows, So that early booking, it doesn't even work anymore, because the airlines are not opening up their booking slots for you to even want to book. So they are just waiting to see what the market is, now you have NCAA even increasing their and that's their charges, and that's even more adding more to the crisis that these airlines are facing. So all that would definitely be figured into the airfares that a common passenger would pay. So it's
normally people from the east always travel within this period. There's no way they will not travel, because this is the time they actually just just safe to travel, to go back home to their roots. So are you saying that because of this development, I mean, a lot of people want to stay back wherever they are, especially people that do not want to go on road transportation, and also, people that actually fly aircraft are actually people that are very scared of the insecurity on the roads, the kidnappings and all of that one. So how do you think people are going to manage this? With this hike here and there, are you advising that they save up more so they could, meet up this target for the fare hike, or take the other route?
So it's a mix of issues. For those that probably don't have important things, but then again, you know that festive seasons are periods when our brothers in the East would want to fix their traditional marriage, want to do a lot of, so there are important events that are holding. So some people who can afford that can just, however, just travel. But for those who cannot afford it, there's also the insecurity, and it's rising every day. I mean, we see what the report is on the road. So that fear is also there. So for those people that have lesser engagements, they will probably just have to pull out and just say, you know what, Christmas can be done anywhere. But for those that really want to travel and are scared for what's happening, we just have to, squeeze out that money to pay.
Now we're talking about the local flights now. Now, how about people coming from the diaspora to this? Are you sure it's not going to be like triple? I mean, or what do you think?
Yeah,
is it going to add up?
Those people are also complaining. I spoke to a travel agent who said that she tried to book for people in diaspora, and they're really, really complaining. In fact, they were saying that tickets for their two children is even more than coming from US to Nigeria.
Wow.
Local tickets for two children. It's more than the flights coming down from US to Nigeria. So can you put that together, and you're wondering how the situation has gotten to this. So I mean, they would definitely have to, because some people that the last touch points may not be Lagos. Some people want to still leave from Lagos to maybe Enugu, to Asaba, to Port Harcourt, and the rest of the places. So we'll still have that. I mean, yeah, it's going to be during this Christmas. Yeah.
So is it as a result of aviation fuel? What is bringing about this hike? Apart from the fact that you just spoke about the fact that limited flights, flying flights, so to speak. Is it aviation fuel that's actually causing this hike and all of that? What is actually happening?
Yeah, so there are a combination of issues that have lingered for some time now. Recently, we spoke on BDTV most recently, how the Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority had increased charges, and they said the security charges, and that charge is going to be implemented on the tickets that every passenger will pay. That's also one of it. I think it's $11 right now.
Wow.
And it's going to definitely affect airfares. Of course, we also have the aviation fuel. So aviation fuel constitutes about 40% of the operating cost of an airline. So I mean, that has always also happened. There are reasons why aviation fuel will continue to increase, cost of trucking those fuels to the airports and all that, and so that has also been a challenge. Then we have the multiple charges that are, you have navigational charges, you have parking space, or many charges that airlines would have to pay. And then, of course, that would also be affected in the tickets. So, and then a lot of other things, like I said, shortage of aircraft too. And then we also have the maintenance cost of an aircraft. Maintenance cost keeps increasing. Now, what causes maintenance cost to increase? Forex. We don't have, I mean, you pay for tickets in Naira, and then almost everything you buy, as much as even the tires and the nuts in the aircraft, is paid with dollars. So that's, of course, the airlines cannot bear the brunt alone.
I know.
So this will be translated. So it's a multiple of issues.
Of course, Nigerians, a lot of them will want to pass the blame to the present minister, the person of KMO, yes, Festus KMO. They want to, a lot of people have already started dragging him, thinking that he is the cause and all of that one. But truth be told, before now, it never used to be, this way. And one would think because he's a son, right? He should be able to adjust some of these excesses and try to make it affordable for Nigerians so people can enjoy flying as usual. So what do you say?
Well, for him, I mean, like I spoke to the NCAA. NCAA is supposed to be the representative of government in this, as the case may be, and they said they really don't have much. They don't really have effects on or influence on what's the airlines charges. Airlines charge according to what the costs of their operations. And then if an airline brings their books and say, you know what, it cost me so to. And mind you, a lot of our airlines wet lease. What does it mean to wet lease aircraft?
okay.
There are different types of leasing of aircraft. We have the dry lease and the wet lease. For the dry lease, the lessor is going to give you the aircraft.
True.
And then you're just going to operate it and then remit back to them what you want to remit. But for the wet lease, they are in charge. The lessor is in charge. He brings in his crew, he brings in everything, and then he just gives you chicken change.
Wow.
That's what these airlines are going through. So you may think that you may sit in an aircraft and then see 100 people, and then you're calculating, oh, these people, they collected 100,000 or maybe 300,000 per seat, and then 300,000 and you're calculating 100. You think that comes to the airline. It may not even come to the airline. It may go to the lessor. That owns that aircraft.
Oh wow.
And they are giving as low as maybe 1.5 million to the airline. So you see that they are not really operating profitable, and that's why Festive Skyrocketing has been pushing for dry lease aircraft, for airlines to have access to dry lease aircraft. And we are happy that the first dry lease aircraft actually arrived 2 weeks ago, which is a good step for Airpeace. So we hope that other local airlines can also access this dry lease aircraft, and it will help a lot.
Okay. Now, some time ago, you reported something about a local training center aviation school in Nigeria, right? I think that's happening around Abuja or something.
Yeah, so we have a spring up of aviation schools here and there,
right.
But then the capacity still is not there. A lot of them don't have pilot training. A lot of them just have limited. Yes, a lot of them are not licensed for some certain kind of
because I was going to say that if we have a school like that here, then we already have a local professionals being trained here. It should actually help with even the fares, because most of the time this aircraft, bring in professionals from the diaspora and pay them as expatriates. So I was even going to say that because of these local trainings that we have now, it was supposed to even help reduce those fares, not adding to it. I don't know if that is adding one or two.
So like I said, wet lease aircraft too has, what I said initially was that if you are operating a wet lease aircraft, it means that they have to bring in their expatriates. They will just give you what you want. So first of all, we need capacity. If we have aircrafts that are owned or dry leased by for our local carriers, you would see that the fares will really reduce. This wet lease aircraft arrangement is killing us. It is, and it is in fact, I would say that it's more than 50% reason why fares would not drop in Nigeria. Wow. So it's a big issue. If you go to the Lagos airport, you will see a lot of aircrafts lie there. Yeah. They are not operating. Why? Because they don't have the money to even take those aircraft on maintenance. So the airline just sits back and say, you know what, let's should just bring in their aircraft and so that's the situation of things we have now. Oh
wow! So now we have it at airfares of 350,000, 600,000 for 1 hour domestic flight. These are extreme price, gorging, and these prices, are they really justifiable in the current economic climate?
Of course, they are not justifiable. And again, when I was also doing my research, something that interested me to see that most airlines fly to Abuja, for example, Lagos to Abuja. Lagos to Abuja fares have not really increased.
Okay.
Why? Because you have competition, stiff competition on that route. Wow. But then you see 2 airlines operating from Nigeria to Enugu, 2 airlines operating from Nigeria to
Okay, so that's what the competition is.
So they just sit down and fix prices because the competition is not. If you have competition, you would also
adjust.
Even despite all these factors, you would want to, so that because it is whoever charges the lowest that passengers will go to. Exactly. So you see that right now, routes that are being operated by 2-3 airlines are very expensive. Wow. So that is also a problem that we need to address.
Wow. Okay, so how will the new NCAA $11.5 dollar charge per ticket, coming into effect on December 1st, affect ticket pricing during this period?
It's already affecting it. The moment NCAA announced that charge, you would see that That's even the beginning. That's when tickets started skyrocketing. So I mean, it will definitely affect it, and it's sad. I don't know why NCA has to do that this period. And a case in point is, look at Ghana. Ghana is attracting travelers to it. So what did they do? They had to reduce their passport
fares.
rate.
Wow. Passport rate?
Yeah,
Wow.
they had to reduce it to attract tourists. We have Detty December. We say that Detty December should be one of our, we should
Tourist,
look at it,
attraction.
as a tourist attraction, as something that should give
exactly.
us inflow. And then we are increasing fares, and then we are increasing passport prices too. So what are we doing?
Exactly, because even people coming from the diaspora, when they get here, because they might not be opportune to stop in their hometowns and all that.
Yeah.
When they come to, they also want to be in
want to
Lagos.
explore.
They want to explore. They want to be everywhere, and then they keep hearing this hikes here and there. It's going to be so discouraging for them. What do you think?
Yeah, of course, very, very discouraging. And like I said, I start with the NCA. It was wrong for them. It was a wrong timing. How do you increase fares at a period where you know that you attract tourists?
Exactly.
How do we increase fare at the period where you know that airlines are crying that they don't have access to dry lease aircraft? How do you increase fares at the time when people cannot even afford to travel?
And then one would think that these hikes might come in when the renovations of these airports have already been fully done, and not exactly now. Now it's coming at this time. So what will now happen when these renovations are fully done? It just beats my imagination to think that, I mean, this is not just the end of this hikes. It's still going to come up, after the renovations, and even because of this, like you said, limited aircraft in the airports, right?
And of course, you're very right, because already 2 days ago, the Keyamu and the presidency also called for investors to come invest in the airports.
Oh, wow.
So when these investors come, of course they would charge you, and I mean that would definitely roll out to those using the to those using the terminals. Who are those using the terminals? Airlines operators. So they would definitely, that will still come back to it. But then again, you know that there will be a point where airlines, their hands will be fixed. They won't be able to increase fares more than what they already have. Because when you start increasing fares beyond what Nigerians can, I mean, nobody will fly your aircraft. You'll just be flying an empty aircraft.
I have paid 30,000 naira for a flight from Lagos to Port Harcourt before. And at that time, it was, you'll be like, can't this thing reduce and all? And then you are hearing this hike of hundreds of thousands, and you're not even getting the ticket.
So it's
quite
really,
pathetic.
It's pathetic. So.
Oh, wow. So I want to thank you, Ifeoma Okeke-Korieocha, for this insightful knowledge about what is happening in the aviation sector. Thank you for your time.
Welcome.
We really do appreciate you.
You're welcome.
As always. Now, this is where we draw the curtain today on the big story. I'm sure you've gained one or two, and plan your trips effectively, as this festive season starts. Thank you for joining us. And up next is social listening. I am Destiny Momoh. Stay tuned.